Good afternoon. Today's lesson is going to be about what we talked about earlier today, figurative language. Remember, we talked about figurative language being anything used in literature, movies, commercial, or everyday speech that helps enhance what you're trying to say to get your point across. For example, similes and metaphors compare two things that are not necessarily alike. Similes use like or as, such as the shark's teeth are as sharp as nails. The clouds are fluffy like cotton balls. Metaphors say that that something is something, just like my jacket is an oven. It keeps me warm. My hands are a spider web. I'm great at catching bugs. So it compares two unlike things, but it does not use like or as. Next, we learn that idioms are words that are phrases that don't really make sense. Sort of, a lot of times you hear them being called a figure of speech. I hope you break a leg at the play. We certainly don't want you really to break your leg, but that's another. It's something that people say that means good luck. It does not mean what it sounds like, does it? There's no use crying over spilt milk. People don't usually say that when actual milk is spilled. It's more of a figure of speech saying, don't worry about the little things. Next, onomatopoeia are words that sound just like the sound they make, such as crash, boom, drip, drop, buzz, or like the sound of a barking dog, or maybe a cat going meow. Personification is where you give something that is not human, like an animal, or possibly an object, or something in nature, human-like characteristics. The lightning danced across the sky. Certainly does paint a picture of the lightning, but is the lightning actually dancing? No. The bubbles ran away from me as I chased them. The rose bushes were begging for sunlight. Next is hyperbole. Hyperbole is an extreme exaggeration. I haven't slept in a million years. That means you're probably pretty tired and you haven't slept in a while. I'm so hot that my skin is melting off my body. It's actually not really happening, but it is a good way to get your point across that you're hot. I guarantee if you use that type of expression in hyperbole, your mom or dad would turn on the air conditioner very quickly. This bag is so heavy my arm is going to fall off. Probably not, but I bet somebody would give you a hand if you said that. And lastly, alliteration. Alliteration is when we repeat the beginning consonant sound 2 times or more. Big blue bus, Nellie noshes on noodles, Julie juggles jacks and jump ropes. Allie always acts appropriately, and of course, the classic, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. This is just a quick review of what we talked about today, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples. For example, the first book, and sorry for walking, it says, and the tree was happy. You told me that that was an example of personification. You also told me that I'm sizzling like a hot potato is an example of a simile. That he sailed in and out of weeks and almost over a year, you told me that that was an example of hyperbole. A little bit of an exaggeration, right? And we won't do all of them, but when we said here, why I think they would be over the moon, that's an idiom. Now, what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to think about all the different types of figures of speech that we have talked about today. And I'm going to give you an assignment, and this assignment is optional, although you may want to pay attention because it will be worth, each thing that you do will be worth 5-star stickers. You may find an example of one of these types of figures of speech or figurative language in either something that you read in your AR book Each one will count. 5 stars. You might see something on television, in a show, or on a commercial. Anytime you see that and write it down tonight, that would be worth 5 points. Some of you may really rack up. And for 10 points, if you can catch your parent using some sort of figurative language and write that down for me, that will be worth 10 stars. You must write down what was said or what you read and the type of figurative language that it is an example of. Now, this video is mandatory, and doing the password tomorrow is also mandatory, but what is not mandatory but optional would be finding the examples. I hope everyone will do it, though, because it's a lot of fun. You hear this all the time. This should be a very easy assignment because you read and see and hear figurative language all the time. I'm going to be looking forward to reading some of your writing soon, and I'm hoping you'll experiment with figurative language. And now for the password. The password is, it's a phrase, easy as pie. The password, easy as pie. Have a great night.